Welcome. Very good to see you. Glad that you are visiting us, such a big delegation. I remember our meeting a couple of months ago, and glad that you accepted my invitation and visiting Azerbaijan at this important time of very active development of relations between our countries. As you know, we are now entering a new phase of bilateral ties, very promising and very active. And of course, your visit prior to the visit of Vice President also is of great importance, because part of our interaction is concentrated on business, investments, trade relations, and many other, which is part of our strategic agenda. I know that you will have many meetings with different governmental officials, and I'm sure they will answer all your questions. And as a result of this mission, I think we will see more active interaction on different tracks. I know that you represent different segments of US economy, and that will be very useful, because so far our economic relations are not at the level which we want to see. So once again, welcome and wish you a pleasant stay. And also I know that many of you are visiting us for the first time. I think absolute majority, so it will be also a good opportunity to know more about Azerbaijan. Welcome. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. It was indeed a pleasure. We met on the sidelines of Anga, and at that point you invited us, and you asked us to bring a big business delegation. And thanks to His Excellency Ambassador Ibrahim, with the help the Ministry of Economy and Azerbaijan Promon, and of course our colleagues in and the CG and the US Embassy, we have 31 companies, and we have a representative of them here, but and a delegation which is a little larger than this. We wanted to have a smaller group for this meeting. So we have about 60 people,
60.
And 31 companies. So it's even bigger than this table. We are delighted, and we are delighted to be here. And really, typically the business relationship goes faster than the political relationship. But here, the political relationship has gone faster than the business relationship, which is unusual.
True.
But, you know, companies, we work fast, and we will catch up fast. And it really is a testament to your leadership, that of your government, that you see, if you look, Your Excellency, the participating companies, it's from all the different sectors.
Yeah,
I
noticed that.
It's energy, it's technology, it's food and beverages, it's mobility and transportation. So we just wanted to thank you for that. If we may, Your Excellency, we can Excellency, thank you again. We would like to invite you when you next come to Washington to meet with an even bigger group from the business community. There is a lot of interest in Azerbaijan. I think really starting with COP 2 years ago, and the very successful COP you did, pointing out the importance, as you did, you may recall, of the old energy and traditional energy sources which the world needs, and new energy sources. I think you see here a mix of companies that cut across all of the sectors, the foundational sectors, emerging sectors. So since then we have seen truly a lot of interest in Azerbaijan. Your ministers are always welcome. The more opportunities there are for interaction, the more understanding of the opportunities there will be in Azerbaijan for American companies. When you're in New York next next time. I know how busy Anga is, but we will plan ahead and we will ask your ambassador to help us to do a round table on the sidelines of Anga. Maybe you can come to New York one day early and we'll do it even on a Sunday. But really, we just want to ask you if you have any thoughts or anything for our companies.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this invitation. And once again, thank you for being with us. I looked at the list of the companies which are visiting us and also your comments and see that with many of these companies we have a very fruitful cooperation for many years. Some of them are new. And this is absolutely natural because, first, Azerbaijan was very open to international partnership since early years of its independence and established good contacts with many international companies, including US companies. Therefore, it's natural that the name of the companies is very familiar to me. On the other hand, at this stage of active development of US-Azerbaijan relations, generated by my meeting with President Trump last August in Washington, it's natural that we will broaden the range of areas where we cooperate. Last August with President Trump, we signed a document to elaborate a charter on strategic partnership between Azerbaijan and the United States with the specific items. Since that time, I sent 4 governmental delegations to Washington to address the issues of trade, economy, investments, energy, AI, defense industry cooperation, and other areas. There have been numerous interactions between governmental officials, and my last meeting with President Trump last month in Davos, though his schedule was very tight and he was there for a very short period of time, but having a meeting with the President of Azerbaijan once again demonstrates to our communities, to the whole region, how important relations are between us and how friendly these relations are. So, along with the traditional areas of cooperation, which are energy, trade, investments, we now work on very important areas related to digital transformation and AI, and we hope that American companies will be our main partners. We already established good contacts, and by the way, you also commented on that during the visit of one of our governmental delegation. There was an extensive meeting with communication companies, with AI companies, with companies related to the creation of data centers. So this is now one of the priority for us. I think we have a lot of advantages. First, geographical location. Second, existing communication infrastructure implemented in not a very easy times, like oil, gas, pipelines, railroads, electric cables. Then one of the most important issue is that we have a lot of electric energy which we do not use, which we do not consume, and which we do not export so far. So far it's about 2 gigawatts of power generation which is available. And in the broader region of where Azerbaijan is situated, we are the only country which doesn't have any dependence on imports of any kind of energy sources. We are self-sufficient on oil, on gas, on oil products, on petrochemicals, on electric energy, and we export all of those which I've just mentioned. So our target is, along with the growing export, which definitely will be very helpful to many countries. Today, by the way, we export natural gas by pipelines to 16 countries. And we are number 1 in the world with respect to the coverage by pipeline gas. But along with that, we want to use our energy potential here to attract leading American and companies from other countries to be our partners in AI and digital transformation. With respect to the fossil fuel, which for many years was discriminated due to certain political agenda, we are glad that the policy of President Trump, as in every other area, is based on realistic scenario, is very far from populism, and is based on the existing situation on the ground. The world cannot live without fossil fuels, and the countries which are rich with fossil fuels should not be blamed for that. You mentioned COP. One of my messages as a host country of COP was we should not be blamed for having oil and gas. Also, I said that many countries held COPs, and those countries produce 10 times more oil and gas than Azerbaijan, but they were not subject of media attacks. My message was that countries should be judged by the way how they use the revenues of export of hydrocarbons. And here in Azerbaijan, everyone can see that the distribution of wealth is made in a very fair way. And second, what is their contribution to the issue of climate? And in our case, when we are provided with natural gas reserves for at least 100 years, not only for domestic consumption but for export, investing and attracting investments in renewables really demonstrates our responsibility. So as I said, 2 gigawatts of energy already exists, and by 2032, based on the contracts signed, not MOUs, contracts, we will have additional 7 to 8 gigawatts of solar and wind energy. And all that will be available, as I said, for domestic consumption with a growing economy, growing industry, and especially our target to become one of the global hubs for AI and data centers. Plus, it will help many more countries now which suffer from lack or absence of reliable sources of electricity and gas supply. One of the projects which we are working now on is also construction of the transmission lines, new transmission lines apart from what is existing, from Azerbaijan to Europe, through Black Sea cable, and also through TRIP, the project which was initiated by President Trump and bears his name, Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity, which is becoming possible after peace has been reached between Azerbaijan and Armenia. So we consider connectivity also as one of the important areas of our concentration. So far, a lot has been done in order to bring our transportation and logistics infrastructure to the appropriate level. Our seaport now can handle 15 million tons, and expansion will lead to a capacity of 25. Our railroads are being modernized. The new is being built, which will go through Armenia and then will transform into another extension of the middle corridor. 9 international airports, one of the biggest in the region, maybe the biggest cargo company, air cargo company. All that is already an asset. If we add the interest which now is growing towards connectivity, especially between Azerbaijan and Central Asia, Azerbaijan and Europe, we are most probably one of the only countries which can bring the countries together, taking into account our experience in building pipelines. To build a pipeline is difficult, it's costly, and in our geography, when you have to go through mountains and then go on the seabed, it is really a big challenge. Plus, when you build a pipeline, especially with a length of 3,500 kilometers, which goes through several countries, starts in the Caspian and ends in Italy, you have to have relations, and good relations, with all with whom you work. So this experience only we have in this broader region. It's not because I am saying, how to say, good things about Azerbaijan, but this is a reality. In the projects which unite many countries, you have to have diplomacy, skills, experience, and already results. So in our case, we have all of them. So I'm sure that the result of your mission will soon be implemented in practical projects. Of course, members of the government whom you will meet will give you more detailed information about what are our plans and what is already in the pipeline. And I think that these kind of missions should take place regularly. I'm ready to be with you when I visit America again. And also I ask you to come at least minimum once a year here, just to have update and to see what else we can do. Thank you very much. We highly value this partnership which you mentioned. Already 30 plus years. For us, it was instrumental in transformation, because when BP and Azerbaijan started joint activity back in 1994, Azerbaijan was a country with serious problems. We had at that time 1 million people homeless, deported, ethnically cleansed from Azerbaijan as a result of Armenian aggression. We had zero money in our budget. We had electricity shortages, lack of electricity, lack of even oil production was rapidly declining, and very low prospects for success. So attracting investments from international oil companies, mainly BP and others, for us was the only way how to survive and how to build a state. So BP's and other companies' trust in us was instrumental, and we will never forget that. And since that time, for more than 30 years, there has been never any disagreement or any kind of legal case, nothing. So this is really an example, a good example of cooperation between host country and major energy company. So now cooperation is transforming into renewables. BP is now involved in the creation of 240 megawatt solar power plant in the city of Jabrail, which until 2020 was under occupation. And decarbonization of the biggest oil and gas terminal in Sangachal is also a big contribution on behalf of BP to green agenda. And also many other plans, existing and new projects, including increase of gas production, which hopefully this year we will see from ACG Deep project, and also stabilization of oil production, which is important for all of us. And with all the energy companies which we worked and continue to work very efficiently, we have established a very good relations. And I think that's why, despite the fact that oil production is, due objective reasons, going down, still interest in investments in Azerbaijan is very high. And I see the representatives of Exxon, the company which was also one of the first to join investment projects in Azerbaijan, and now is working on a new projects, hopefully with good results. And during my visit to Washington last August, MOU was signed on very promising and very attractive project. If successful, we hope that will give us additional opportunities to develop our oil industry, and at the same time will give us additional chance to invest, as we always did, of the money which we receive from oil sales to non-oil economy. And by the way, this is one of the targets which we put in front of ourselves to diversify the economy. We see good results. I just looked at the data of January, this January statistics. Our non-oil and gas-related industry grew almost 8%. This is due to this diversification. So contracts and cooperation on traditional energy sources give us a chance to accumulate funds and to reinvest. I got information from our governmental agencies about very fruitful cooperation with Visa, and we are very happy about that. And of course, you work here with different partners, with Minister of Economy, with Central Bank, with Minister of Digital Transformation and Transportation, and with many others. And you know our agenda, our plans, what is being done here. And definitely we will be working closely with Visa for coming years in order to continue modernization and making life of the people and satisfy their day-to-day needs much more easier. So thank you very much. Once again, grateful for being with us. I looked at the list of the companies and see those, as I said, whom we work for many years, and they already during their comments expressed that, like Apple, Baker Hughes, Boeing, BP, Coca-Cola, Ericsson, Exxon, JP Morgan, Honeywell, Marriott, MasterCard, Visa, and new names for me. So I think it's a good composition to build existing partnership on cooperation which we have, and also for those who are visiting us for the first time, that also will be a kind of a reference about doing business in Azerbaijan. In general, business climate in the country is very positive. We attracted huge investments. If you look at the size of the country and population, 350 billion investments in the last 2 decades is a lot. And as we all know, investments are the main driving force for development of any country. And we've been always open to foreign investments. Our legislation, including production sharing agreements, which have been signed 30 years ago, not a single word has been changed. I know that it's not the case anywhere in the world. Sometimes when you negotiate, you make some concessions and then you want to reconsider that. It never happened here, because we were absolutely sure that you have to build trust, especially in the country which was in a very poor situation, as I mentioned, in the beginning of the 90s. You have to build trust within years, and only one wrong step can ruin that trust. So we were lucky that we didn't make that wrong step. On the contrary, today the number of companies who work with us is growing. Our geography of our international relations also is growing. Strategic partnership documents, agreements, and declarations have been signed with many countries, and some of them are not in good terms between each other. But I always said that Azerbaijan will never be an area of confrontation. It will be the area of cooperation. There'll be enough room for everyone. And of course, the development agenda of the country demonstrates that we were on the right track. Today, as I said, relations with the United States are entering the new, absolutely fantastic area. We are very enthusiastic, and we want to use this great opportunity in order to establish direct contact between the companies. Azerbaijan plays an important role in energy security of many countries. 10 of them are members of the European Union, 11 at the same time members of NATO. So for these countries, now Azerbaijan is transforming into a much more important partner than ever before. And we observe, respect all our commitments, and never mixed political agenda with business. And that also was a good opportunity for us to broaden our international presence on the global energy market. Connectivity projects, which we already discussed, they already create a great opportunity for the region, because despite the fact that we've been a subject of Armenian aggression and occupation for 30 years, it was Azerbaijan who made the first step towards peace after liberation of our territories and full restoration of our territorial integrity and sovereignty. By force and by political means, we offered Armenia peace. And peace was achieved with the help of President Trump, August 8, 2025. And now we not only lifted all the restrictions to transit cargo to Armenia, because Armenia doesn't have reliable transportation communication routes, so transit through Azerbaijan for them is very important. We started to supply oil products to Armenia in order to establish, the first elements of cooperation. With respect to our economic situation, it is stable. We have very low foreign debt. It is 6.1% of our GDP, which probably is one of the lowest in the world. And also we accumulate financial resources. We build on every year on financial resources so that the economy is stable. Leading rating organizations like S&P upgraded our credit rating to investment and positive, which is also a reflection of the reforms. We have positive dynamics on demography. Our population is growing, maybe not as fast as 10 years ago, but we see this more or less in the countries, in the regions, the same picture. But nevertheless, demographic situation is positive. Poverty rate is around 5%, which is, I think, also a good result. So this demonstrates that economic development and social protection were going hand to hand in Azerbaijan. And that was the reason for political stability, predictability, economic stability, and opportunities. So today, our main concentration is to step forward in line with the global trends, especially in digital transformation, in artificial intelligence, in data centers, and a lot has been already accomplished. Maybe it's not seen and should not be seen yet, but a lot of preparatory works have been done, and our biggest expectations is to work with American companies, which are the leaders in this area, as a strategic partners. And by the way, in the document which we signed with President Trump and with which we are planning also to sign a Charter on Strategic Partnership, there is a special provision for AI and everything related to that. Of course, we can talk a lot about what has been done and what we plan, but I think better will be for you to see everything with your own eyes, especially for those who visit us for the first time. Of course, to meet governmental officials and also business community, and to feel the country. And also the last word about hospitality business. We're very glad that Marriott already expanding its presence in Azerbaijan, not only in the capital, but also in the regions. I hope that your activity in the regions will grow. We have other also hotel chains from United States and not only. And still there is a big potential because the number of foreign visitors to Azerbaijan is growing year after year. There was only one period, COVID and post-COVID, when it was a decline. So now it is being recovered. The occupancy in the hotels also is at appropriate level. Big international events, which Azerbaijan is hosting regularly, also attraction of additional tourists. So my recommendation would be to look at the opportunities in Baku and in the region. You mentioned the ski resort. There are big plans to develop this site. Today it's already quite a sizable and very comfortable place for sports, and by the way, we'll host the first international event this March. So hospitality business has a big potential in Azerbaijan. So I hope that many other branches and chains of American hotel industry will come to Azerbaijan and to see that it's a good place to invest and to do business.